Residents who live at flats in Sheffield, which were evacuated on Friday night, say they still don't know when they'll be allowed back home. Flats on floors 6 to 10 of the Riverside apartments at the Wicker were emptied after an inspection by the Fire Service, which found the fire alarm system was inadequate. Tom Ingle is there for us now. Tom, it's over to you.
Good evening, Amy. Yes, imagine sitting down for tea on Friday night and suddenly getting a knock at the door and a man saying, "Get out, this building no longer complies with fire regulations." Sounds like a nightmare this close to Christmas? Well, it's a dreadful reality for people who live in the Wicker building here behind me. You'll notice how dark floors 6 to 10 are because that's where everyone has had to evacuate. We've got so many resident stories to tell. Here's just one of them.
We were literally just sat down to have a glass of wine. We'd just made some dinner. It was about 7:30 and a knock on the door, and at that time there was very little understanding of what was going on or what our rights were, and as a rush we had to leave, pack a bag and go. As frustrating and horrible as it is for us, particularly because of Christmas time, I feel really bad. I've got friends in the building behind me who own, and it had been a positive thing for them to buy an apartment, and now they're seemingly in ruins. They don't know what to do.
Important to say, this is not a cladding issue. This is about ventilation, fire alarm systems and what's called compartmentation, how you stop a fire spreading from flat to flat. So we asked South Yorkshire Fire and Rescue Service, this is not a new building. How come after 13 years it's suddenly non-compliant? And they said, well, a lot of lessons are coming out of the Grenfell Tower inquiry after that terrible fire in London, and they said when a building has finished being built, normally the developers and the local authority sign it off as fire compliant, or they used an approved inspector, and that's what's happened in this case. So we went to Sheffield City Council and said the same thing, and they gave us a statement. It comes from Councillor Paul Wood, Cabinet Member for Neighbourhoods and Community Safety, and he says, "We are appalled that despite advice, this building has fire safety issues that puts at risk residents, and we are working closely with South Yorkshire Fire and Rescue Service. We will also be using the council's enforcement arrangements to ensure works are carried out so that residents can return to their homes promptly and, if possible, before Christmas." The residents have spent a lot of time this week on the phone, and among those phone calls are Paul Blomfield, the local MP, who is supporting them.
Well, I'll be pressing the Minister to take responsibility, because this is a failure of the system, and it's not right that those victims who live there should have to bear the cost of making good the building. So I'll be pressing him for emergency funding to ensure that the work is done, that it's done quickly, and that the residents have to cover none of the costs.
The Building Management Agency say they're working on getting a new fire alarm system in. People may be back by this weekend.
Let's hope they're certainly home for Christmas, Tom. Thank you.